Truth Seeker. Yesterday, April 22nd, 2025, the 56th Earth Day, a massive wildfire broke out in New Jersey, the Garden State. The garden's on fire on Earth Day. And I want to talk about the obvious ritual and what this has to do with climate change. A more recent terminology. For a long time, it was global warming. But what this has to do with climate change, and of course, the current president, who has a lot of real estate in New Jersey, who's a denier of climate change, and how this story helps further polarize and divide the nation. It also is going to increase our insurance costs, cost of living. It's going to serve the agenda that is Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, and how this is not Mother Nature, this is arson, and it is highly ritualistic, and it's very obvious who's behind it. And right off the top, it might remind you of the Lahaina fires in Maui the other year because the governor's out of state, he's in Poland. It might also remind you of the Los Angeles fire at the beginning of the year where the mayor was in Africa because the governor's out of the state. The governor's in Poland, and we have an acting governor in their place. We keep seeing this with the major fires, that the typical leader's not there, and the acting fill-in is. So just these themes. But let's go through this. Earth Day began April 22nd, 1970. It was created by Senator Gaylord Nelson. We'll get to that. But that means it was created 55 years ago, which means this year is the 56th edition of Earth Day. And for anyone who has trouble with that math, because a lot of people will say, oh, it must be the 55th Earth Day since it started 55 years ago. Again, a lot of people make that common math mistake. The first Earth Day was in 1970. The second was in 1971. So notice, 1971 wasn't the first, right? It was 1 year later, which was the second. That's why it's 55 years later, but the 56th Earth Day. And both numbers are important, though, the 55th anniversary and the 56th Earth Day. Again, if you're new here, wrote a book about this a long time ago, Weather Warfare by the Numbers. There's a certain number I always talk about looking out for with weather warfare. It has to do with today specifically and why the fire has rapidly expanded today due to the winds as the New Jersey Devils played the Hurricanes. Of course, hurricane, wind. But yeah, it is the 55th anniversary, and in the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, burn equates to 55. The acting governor, I cannot find her birthday online, but everywhere says she's 55 years old. Tahisha Way is 55. And again, the Stanley Cup playoffs are underway. The New Jersey Devils made it into the Stanley Cup. That series began on Easter, 2 days before the fire. Of course, the Devils lost on Easter. The Angels won in baseball. The Padres won in baseball. Padres means father. We all know what happened to the Holy Father, Pope Francis, the very next day on Easter Monday. And keep in mind, this fire breaks out right after the Pope's death, and the Pope was very big on fighting climate change. All the encyclicals he wrote were about doing something about climate change. But when you think of the devils, when you think of Satan, you do think of fire, right? In the Christian teaching, the hellfire. Just for the record, Satan also has that gematria of 55. Again, Marilyn Manson made a song about this. The state of New Jersey's birthday is December 18th. Notice that from the state's birthday to the fire breaking out was 125 days. It was also 4 months and 4 days. Just notice how these numbers come together. Again, starting fires by a code of numerology is something that's been going on for a long time. It might sound wild to you, but again, you learn this code, you'll see that it's very redundant. Military technology, no doubt, is being used to start these fires. And it doesn't have to be that complicated, but there is military technology, laser technology, energy weapons that can start fires from many miles away. And I suspect that is what they're doing. And that's why with so many of these fires, they never really get to the bottom of it, or they end up blaming it on some teenager, patsy. Anyway, military has this gematria value of 44, and when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, 55. Again, if you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers of the English language. This is elementary mathematics. It's the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. The reverse alphabetic order, Z is 1 back to A is 26. And both orders with numerology applied. Again, 125 days after the state's birthday. You can see how numerology also equates to 55 and 44, as does 125. And I'm going to get to how Wisconsin is the exact same because the senator who created Earth Day was a representative of Wisconsin. We're going to come back to that. Wisconsin is just like numerology, 44, 55, 125. All of those numbers relevant to this ritual. And again, just the wordplay too. Earth Day and a fire in the Garden State. But yes, this is the 56th Earth Day, and Earth Day began in the year 70. Keep in mind, these were big numbers with the Pope's death the day prior. But climate change has that gematria value of 56 and 70. They also have a mathematical connection, those numbers. The number 70 is 56 in base 8 counting. Mathematical relationship. Again, who gave us the language? Who gave us the calendar? We just saw the death of the first Jesuit Pope. Again, the Jesuits are the Society of Jesus. Society of Jesus equates to 56. Jesuits run the show. They stamp this number on all their high rituals. Just got done talking about this Sunday night for the millionth time. Then the very next day, the Pope dies in a 56 ritual. And then the very next day, on the 56th Earth Day, the Garden State's on fire. These things are not an accident. Notice Gaylord Nelson. Oh, and by the way, just about Earth Day being on the 112th day of the year, remember the Jesuits operate in 112 countries. So Earth Day also falls on the 112th day of the year. But yes, Gaylord Nelson. The fire began 43 days before his birthday anniversary, which is June 4th. New Jersey equates to 43. Again, he represented Wisconsin, which has the 125, 44, and 55, just like numerology. Military has the 44 and 55. That means also that from his last birthday, June 4th, his last birthday anniversary, he passed away in 2005. And they're saying this is the worst fire in New Jersey since 2005. So the year he passed. Worst fire in New Jersey in 20 years since 2005. Anyhow, from his last birthday to the fire is 322 days, and 322, very special number. It's a number that's very symbolic of Kabbalah, where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from. Again, Genesis 322 mentions the tree of life and knowing good and evil. The physical model of Kabbalah is the tree of life with 3 pillars and 22 paths. It has a good and an evil half. The evil half is the Qliphoth, which is where this sorcery and spell casting of this knowledge comes from. Again, Order 322, Skull and Bones, powerful secret society in the nation's capital out of Yale. And keep in mind, Yale equals 43. Just like the last Skull and Bones president was number 43, George W. Bush, where it came down to Florida, where his brother was the 43rd governor, not to mention Florida also equals 43. But yeah, 322 days after his last birthday. Don't forget, Skull and Bones is modeled after the Illuminati. The Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, but the founder of the Illuminati also died on the 322nd day of the year, November 18th, 1830. As for today, whenever we talk about weather warfare, we almost always talk about 52. The first act of weather warfare was admitted to on the Jesuit Order's birthday, August 15th, 1952. Today, the day that the fire's rapidly expanding, the day after it caught fire on the night of Earth Day, today has a lesser date numerology of 52. Talked about this in last night's stream. April 23rd, 25. 4 plus 23 plus 25 is 52. Earth equals 52. Tomorrow, we'll have 53 date numerology, and tomorrow will be the 114th day of the year. Ocean County equates to 53. Garden State equates to 114. So again, tomorrow, the 114th day of the year, a date with 53 numerology corresponding with the location. We'll see if by tomorrow they might have it under containment. That could be the ritual for it to burn through those days. But notice also Trump, who got 312 electoral college votes, who has a lot of real estate in New Jersey. This fire begins 312 days after his birthday. And that means the fire also began 53 days before his upcoming birthday. Mr. Denier of climate change, right? That's the way a lot of people are caught up in this. You know, Democrats, a lot of them don't like the Republican Party because they deny climate change. They care more about the earth. Republicans will say, oh, you know, the earth's a big place. Climate change is a hoax. It's more important to keep jobs going and the economy up. You got these different political camps that have been created, and they love to use these divisive issues ritualistically to keep people voting blue or voting red. But anyway, the fire starts 53 days before Trump's upcoming birthday. Burn 53 like Ocean County. And for the record, if you run Ocean County the other way, it equals 46. And notice the senator who created Earth Day, his birthday is June 4th, which can be written 4-6. He would have been 109 years old this coming June. Weather is 109, as is military. That's probably not an accident either. But yeah. Again, the Maine governor out of town. The 55-year-old in place for the burn. Again, burns 55 forwards, 53 in reverse. And Trump was planting trees yesterday on Earth Day. You know, remind you of his Democratic roots. He was a lifelong Democrat until Barack Obama. But yeah, again, just more mockery. Same old numbers. I don't know how many more times things like this need to happen before people catch on, because we're all eating the consequences of this. All of our insurance rates are sky high, cost of living, the destruction of the place we call home, just burning up trees which improve air quality. And again, this is the way the cabal operates. They do evil things to make you submit. Again, they want this climate change thing because through it, they can limit your rights and liberties, your privileges. They can implement additional taxes. They can make cost of living a lot more expensive. Ultimately, that will curb consumerism, and I'm kind of on board with that part. I do think we should consume less. I think we consume way too much. The oceans, the earth is full of trash. I think that is tragic. But going about it this way, this is super evil. Burning up the earth, to gain greater control and say, see, we got to save it. This is how the psychopaths operate. And again, they do everything by a code. And just the par for the course was syncing things up with sports. Again, winds are causing the fire to spread. The New Jersey Devils are playing the Hurricanes while this happens. It's a lot like Lahaina, where it was a dry hurricane. They said the winds of Hurricane Dora caused the power lines to fall that spread the fire rapidly, that kills God knows how many people and wiped out the old capital of Hawaii so they can come back and burn or build their smart city. And don't forget, the governor at the time was out of state. You had the acting Jesuit lieutenant governor in charge. But he was on his little trip talking about climate change when that happened. Governor Green. Those were the main points I had. If anybody else is out there in listening and has an observation about this, something to chime in with, please call in and share that information. I just put up the number to call in. It is the 509-560-4982. I'm going to try something out today and see if the call board works. If it does not and we got an audio glitch, I'll switch it over to another way to take the calls. But tried something out, and I'm wondering if this is going to troubleshoot the problem. If anybody would like to call in and talk about this today, if you have something additional to share, or maybe you're even out there watching and you think this is a load of BS, I'd even welcome that phone call if you want to call in and tell me why you think this is BS, what I've been here talking about for over a decade, seemingly proving my point in spades. predicting the crazy weather a lot of times before it happens. I wish I would have known it was the 56th Earth Day coming up. I would have been all over that. I mean, this is what they do. They got an opportunity of 56. It's time to strike. It's time for the cabal to strike. Remember, all-seeing eye equals 56. Cult equals 56. Occultism 56. This number and every high ritual you can ever think of, especially the Cooties 19 scandemic. That whole thing was 56. But yeah, if anybody has anything to phone in with and share, or questions or criticism, again, now is the time. I see we got some generous donors. Paula the Kitchen Witch, good to see you back. I haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you. She's always been courteous with gifting the subscriptions. Anytime Paula gifts one, Rick always comes right back. Thank you as well, Rick. King Richard TV says, these fires come 163 days after the last New Jersey fire, November 11, 2024. Always a great addition from King Richard. 163 is the 38th prime. Fire equals 38. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Ritualistic fires. I think I missed the New Jersey November 11th, 2024 fire. We'll go back and look at that. Open Up says New Jersey native who smashed 3 home runs after the Trump theatrics on July 13th hit his 29th home run yesterday. Fire also equates to 29. Again, if you're new here, let me pull up the calculator. Again, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language. These are the 4 base ciphers of fire. So 163 days after the last fire, that's the 38th prime. Mr. Butler, who Open Up is talking about, hit his 29th home run from New Jersey. 70, fire is 70. Earth Day began in 1970. 56 and 70 have the base 8 counting connection. Again, the 56th Earth Day, you get this fire. And then here we are in 2025, and this year began with a major fire in Los Angeles on the 97th day of the mayor's age, when 97 is the 25th prime. So you got to know those prime number relationships. Let's see. New Jersey fire, November 11th, 2024. Yeah. The Guardian was covering it. Al Jazeera, The Guardian. As of November 11th, a stage 3 restriction is still in effect. Let's see, is there a Wikipedia for this fire? They called this the Northeastern United States wildfires. It says, while wildfires in the Northeast began as early as July 5th in the summer, the record dryness of September and October allowed them to significantly expand from October 1st to November 11th. Over 537 reports of wildfires were received in New Jersey. So maybe November 11th was the last day of the fires in New Jersey. And now, again, they fire up 163 days later. It'd be a span of 163 days, wouldn't it? Because that's the day leaving 50 days left in the year. 50 plus 112 is 162. Or add the span, it is 163. It says across the state of Connecticut in late October, 70 wildfires were reported. Oh, that's interesting because fire is 70. Okay. Amtrak service was suspended for 24 hours on November 12th and 13th between Penn Station and New Haven. That's where Yale Skull and Bones is. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, great addition as always. If we don't have anybody who wants to call in, we can keep it short and sweet. Perhaps more people will watch the video. It's a hard thing to get any views talking about this real information. All right, I'm checking in on the chat. Yeah, when I start talking about this and people start talking about if I think it's solar flares or solar activity causing these fires, the answer is always no. No. These are rituals. They're being purposefully set. Doesn't have anything to do with the sun. Um okay. Somebody in the chat says Trump is for the earth and its people. He's for his people, just like all these politicians. They represent their small group of people. They don't really care much about the rest of humanity. Uh, if Trump was for the people, he would have stood up like we did in 2020 against the scandemic. He would have been out in front of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation calling out what Gates said 10 years earlier. He would have been putting out the book Number Games, warning people why not to get the pokey doke and to expect the scandemic to go through the year of the tiger. All the things we did, which were right on the money. We showed what it looks like when you represent the people. Trump showed what it looks like when you're owned by the banker tyrants, some of the only people to profit from the scandemic. If you're on my channel talking about how Trump cares for the people, you definitely need to stick around and learn something. Shout out to Dana. I know Dana's in the New Jersey area. She says, on the very first Earth Day, people wore masks to protest smog and air pollution. Yeah. And now very contaminated air in the area due to the fires. Okay. You know what's a lot more effective than prayer? Action. Action's a lot more effective than prayer. Prayer is speculative. The one thing about prayer, though, is it goes with the first rule of Hermeticism. All is mental. You're focusing on something. You're putting your energy towards something that does help things be achieved. But again, what's a lot more effective than prayer is actually doing something. A lot of people's prayers are praying to fictional gods, believing silly mythology, waiting for characters in books to come solve problems, which is exactly why we are where we are. And don't forget, it is the Society of Jesus that has the majority of humanity under their mind control, behaving the way they want them to, which is usually sitting on their hands or their hands are folded, waiting for fairy tales. And again, just to make a point about that, I get tired of the people under the spell of the Society of Jesus coming here and leaving their comments like, Zach, your work does not matter if you're not washed in the blood of Jesus. It's like, do you guys hear yourselves? Do you not hear that, like, do you not hear how cultish you sound? First of all, who wants to be washed in anybody's blood? Oh, that's not what it means. Stop, then speak in the way you want it to be understood. You're not washed in the blood of Jesus. You're not eating his body and drinking his blood on Sundays. Yeah, that's because I'm not a cult member. I'm the one out here putting out real knowledge and real facts and exposing real evil. And if more people were doing it, these agendas would be stopped in their tracks. Okay? You're the one at home believing in childish stories that are based in fear, waiting for fictional characters to come save the day. And you wonder why the wood's on fire again. You're at home watching the hockey game and not getting the joke of the Devils and the Hurricanes while New Jersey burns up and winds spread the fire. You know, you're that person. Why doesn't Jesus come down out of the clouds and give the same sermons we're giving over here? Then the flock would finally listen. The guy in the chat who's talking about sunspots causing the fire and praying, I don't think you're the one to be giving out advice. You're the one who needs to be taking notes and paying attention. There's a reason that every time they run a psyop on you, what do the politicians get on TV and tell you to do? The same corrupt politicians that are in on it, what do they always tell the populace to do? The best thing we can do now is pray. Isn't that what these corrupt politicians always tell you? The best thing we can do now is pray. I'd like everybody to have the people of this town in your hearts and minds, and I would like you to pray for them. And then the same thing happens again and again and again and again. So are you going to keep praying? You think that's the solution, to just keep praying, just like how the cabal tells you to do? Keep praying. A lot of you guys really don't learn. You're not very observant. You can't put 2 and 2 together. Again, you're cult members. You're under total mind control. You've swallowed the loads entirely. Yeah, again, you're either under a spell or you're inept. We're trying to break the spell over here and raise the consciousness, the ability, the intelligence. They're blaming it on a homeless tent community in Egg Harbor Township. Let me see what's up with that story. New Jersey fire homeless community. Egg Harbor Township. Let's see if anything comes up on that. Well, I don't see that being anywhere in any stories right now. So I'm not sure about that. Braves 4-1. Boom. Again, you guys, the power of this knowledge. The games are rigged. What's the number I always tell you guys about in Atlanta? If you don't know the answer to that question, you're either new here or you're not paying attention. What number do I always call Atlanta? I always call it the what city. I was just making a point about the new Tyler Perry movie about the white cop shooting the black man, and how his wife works on the news and she gets an X amount of dollars settlement set in Atlanta in the blank number city. The 15 city, right? Atlanta's the 15 city. Cardinals pick up their 15th loss of the year. That's why we had the Braves to win the series. Atlanta, 15. It's also 120. 120 is the 15th triangular number. St. Louis falls to 10 and 15. Drop the 0 out of there, 115. And did Mikolas get the loss today? Mikolas didn't get the loss, but that was everything that could have happened. Mikolas could have got the 67th loss, the Cardinals pitcher. First game of the series was 6-7 in the Braves' favor. That was on the day the Pope died, 67 days from conclave. Or, 67 days from being hospitalized, going with the conclave release date, the day leaving 67 days left in the year. And by the way, somebody from the UK just sent me one more. I'll bring this up about the Pope. Conclave release date in United Kingdom. Get a load of this. Came out November 29th. From that day to the Pope's death was a span of 144 days, like Jesuit order. First Jesuit Pope dead. A span of 144 days from the release in the UK. Getting the Pope dead on Rome's birthday. So, yeah, a little bit different release date than the US. In the US, it was the day leaving 67 days left in the year. In the UK, it was November 29th. And by the way, the Braves winning 4-1 today. Notice Braves also has the 41 connection, right? They win 4-1. Braves won the World Series in 95. 22 happens a lot with the Braves. That number wasn't on the board in today's game, but yeah, just the power of this knowledge. Day after day. Rig sports, rig market, rig crypto, rig news. All right, does anybody else want to try calling in today? Do we have anybody else who would like to share some information or have an input on this? I'll even entertain a call just for good humor from one of you guys who always leaves a comment. Zach, your work doesn't mean anything because you're not washed in the blood of Christ, and that's all that matters, because when he returns, if you're not with him, you're going to end up in the lake of fire. It's like, God, these cult members. I'm exposing real evil on earth that's undeniable. You're coming here with your cult rhetoric, talking about how it doesn't matter to expose actual evil because all that matters is we're all going to die soon, and when Jesus comes, we're going to be saved if we're with Jesus. You don't see how you sound like a cult member? You don't even care about what's really going on. You're more involved in your childhood story for your own selfish gain so that you can have the eternal afterlife because you think that's what it is by just believing in a story made for little kids. In a book full of hypocrisy and all kinds of weirdo crap. It's just gross. It is. It's just gross. Again, I might spend too much time talking about the news because the real problem in this world is the foundation. It's the religion. All this religious crap is why the dummies go along with authority and bullshit stories every day. It's a formula. You get raised on the bullshit, you go along with bullshit your whole life. You have a completely illogical mind. The phone line's not open? Here, let me reset it. It should be open. Hold on, I'm resetting it. Okay, I did it again. I reset it. It should be open. Okay. The phone. All right, yeah, 407's calling in right now. All right, let's see if it's work. Let me see if my troubleshooting's got it working today. 407. What's up?
Hello, Zach.
Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah. Okay, so there's an observation that I made. So from the first Earth Day to the establishment of the EPA in 1970 is 224 days. Now, unlike the date.
Oh wow!
April 22nd. How could be written?
And the Society of Jesus equals 224 as well. So hold on, let me go back and put that on screen.
Wow.
That's a good connection right there. All right, so the first Earth Day we know was, or wait a minute, was the first Earth Day actually celebrated on April 12th?
No, it was April 22nd, 1970, right?
Okay, it was. When I was looking up, something came up about April 12th and Earth Day in history too. Oh, look at that, 193 countries participated in the original Earth Day, the 44th prime. Military 44, New Jersey burning up 4 months and 4 days after the state's birthday. All right, but hold on. EPA creation. Mm-hmm. Let me see. EPA creation.
Established on December 22nd, 1970. December 2nd, which is 122.
And the Jesuit motto, "Isu Salvatum Salvator," is 122. Pope Francis with that 122, dead the day before. Let's see. April 22nd, 1970. December 2nd. 1970. Yeah, look at that. 224 days. And Earth Day is on 22/4, and the Society of Jesus does equal 224. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else is interesting? Yesterday, the Hurricanes made home teams 9-1 over the Devils, and Devils is 91 like the Society of Jesus. And again, the first game in that series was on Easter. And the scoring in that series is 7-2, like Jesuit Order 72. Again, I know that hockey series going on at the same time with the Devils and the Hurricanes is not an accident. So, yeah, that's a very good find. Amazing.
Yeah, just an observation. So.
Yeah, it's a great one. Is this Joe in the chat?
Yes, sir.
I don't think you've ever called in before, have you?
Oh no, I've never called in.
Yeah, I recognize your name from the chat though. So, and I saw you left that comment, so I was like, this must be him. All right, good to talk to you for the first time, man. Thanks for always being around.
All right, yeah, no problem.
All right, you have a good day. What's up, 310?
I wanted to bring your attention on another Hollywood movie that could possibly pay tribute to your work. I don't know if you heard of it. Jordan Peele's making a new movie called Him, H-I-M. It's supposed to come out later this year, and pretty much the basis of the movie is how professional athletes, they got I guess, participate in blood sacrifices in order to, reach that limelight. And the trailer in itself, man, there's so many occult symbolism and all kinds of shit. So I just wanted to see if, if that came across your radar and to check that movie out as well if you got the chance.
I will check it out. A few people said I got to check out that one as well. Man, if we're having this big of an influence in Hollywood, we need some more recognition on the actual channel so we can spread the word to the common people. But yeah, I'll look into it. Very interesting.
Absolutely. All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, take care. I still remember the Key and Peele skit years ago where they were making fun of how the names of athletes are getting more and more ridiculous. God, do you guys remember when that guy was in the NFL for a second? Clinton Dix. I was like, come on, man. And he was drafted to the Redskins. Clinton Dix. Bill Clinton. I never heard with that woman. 407. What's up, 407?
Hey, Zach. How you doing today?
How you doing, man?
Good. So regarding the fire, I just wanted to piggyback off the super chat that I put in about Lawrence Butler. Did this fire start yesterday or today?
It started yesterday on
right?
Earth Day. Yesterday.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, I didn't see this news story, but maybe because it's intensifying today. But if I would have saw that, I definitely would have checked for Lawrence Butler to hit that 29th home run because the fire connection.
Yeah.
But just looking deeper into it, I just started looking into other players who are from New Jersey. I saw what's his name? He's a pitcher. David Festa. He's from New Jersey. He's playing today for the Twins, and his birthday is 3/8. So you could see him do something today, possibly related to the fires.
Yeah, Minnesota 38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this stuff is undeniable. Whether he does something or not, maybe he's on fire today, or he can't do anything. But I mean, the stuff that you've taught us is priceless information, and you do it each day. So I just want to give you your flowers again. Appreciate the work that you do each day.
Well, hey, thanks for being one of the best students in the community. Appreciate you too, man. Thank you for your continued generosity.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Thanks for taking the call.
You have a good day.
Take care.
Take care. Yeah, he calls in almost every day in our sports streams. He's very good at decoding and doing additional research, and he's one of the, you guys know him. That's Open Up. He almost has a super chat in every stream, just like John Mendoza. A lot of the usual suspects. Sometimes I wonder why there's not more people like him out here. Shout out to King Richard TV too, also a usual suspect, doing great decodes every day, being generous. I've told him a whole bunch of times to stop donating because he's a young guy who needs to save up his money, but he says he's doing just fine. He's doing just fine. So appreciate it, young guy, but make sure you got that rainy day fund. Here, while we wait to see if there's any more calls, they're referring to this as the Jones Road wildfire. Okay? Jones Road wildfire. See if we can get anything about this Jones Road. It says about 35% contained. We got a call from Joey. What's up, Joey?
With the Pope out of the picture now, I'm noticing things are obviously starting to be synced up with Arturo Sosa, the Black Pope. And yesterday, the Lakers
Hold
game.
on, haven't they always been synced up with him? But go ahead.
True. Things have always been synced up with the Black Pope as well as the regular Pope.
Right.
But there was a good example last night about the Black Pope being synced up, Arturo Sosa being synced up with the Lakers game. Because yesterday was exactly 23 weeks after Arturo Sosa's birthday, and the Lakers got their 23rd win since the Luka Doncic trade. And Arturo Sosa's full name, in the most pure cipher, it equals 96. Arturo Marcelina Sosa Abascal. And the Lakers got their 96th win all time versus the Timberwolves.
Yeah, well, they became 9-6
and of course,
versus the Timberwolves in the playoffs and got their 96th win all time. And Lakers and LeBron equal 96. That's why I liked the Lakers last night. That just seemed too good to be true. So,
yep. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Just bringing Arturo Sosa
okay.
synchronicity.
All right. Appreciate it, Joey. Thanks, man. Take care.
Yep. Peace.
So look at how they're calling this the Jones Road wildfire. It equals 187. We were just talking about the 56th Earth Day, and the Jesuits, Society of Jesus equals 187 and 56. Big numbers with the Jesuits. Jones Road wildfire also 88. One day after the Pope dies at 88, when the Pope was big on climate change and all his encyclicals were about climate change, including Fratelli Tutti. I'm spelling Fratelli Tutti wrong. Oh, it's because it's got two T's. Fratelli Tutti. And Fratelli Tutti is also 88, interestingly enough. Huh. And 178's there as well because he died 178 days after that Conclave movie came out, like Kabbalah's 178. All right, Jones Road wildfire. I'd like to find out more about this Jones Road. Jones Road, New Jersey. How do I go about getting past the Country Route 505? Okay, here we go. 505, a lot like 55. Looks like that's what Jones Road is. Let's see. Yeah, Country Route 505 is Jones Road. So 55th anniversary of the fire. Burn is 55. Okay, that fits in as well. Look at when, oh my God, look at when Country Route 505 was built in 52. In 52, it opened. The first act of weather warfare in 1952. Here we are on the 52 date numerology. The fire's rapidly expanded today. And it's along a route established in 52. Yeah, that's not an accident. There's always more. The more you look into these things, the more you find. And there's definitely something to the roads in this nation and the numbers assigned to them. We've seen a lot of rituals with roads over the years. Jones Road. They had to attach the fire to the road. Okay. Last call for phone calls. I got to go get Sweet Girl here in a minute. Speaking of the 505, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Jack.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Doing good today. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Since you're bringing up this 505 number, you know, it's where I live. And this new Eddington movie coming out with all this New Mexico stuff. Is there something I need to look into? In your opinion?
Hopefully not.
You know, being out here?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Well, we do have Sandia National Laboratories here.
Say that again. What's there?
Sandia National Laboratories.
I don't know about that. I need to look into that.
And what's crazy about living here in Albuquerque is that we got native land surrounding everything and then mountains, you know, kind of behind us. So, you know, we're kind of secluded out here. And that movie with the pandemic stuff and now this Fire 505 thing, it's kind of like got me a little on edge a little bit, you know.
Well, don't live in fear, Dave. I mean, we know they got things up their sleeve for all necks of the wood, but what do they say? Hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Yeah, I've got my rainy day stuff. Yeah. You know, I listen.
Yeah, indeed.
But, you know, just to be ahead of the game is what this community is all about.
Well, like I always say, man, everybody should have a little rainy day supply on hand. Some dry, non-perishable food, some water, emergency kit, protection device, things you'd need if it was dark and there was no power. I mean, if you don't have those supplies in your house, you know, you're gambling. It could be your neck of the woods that gets it next, and you might very well wish you'd taken that advice, because you can have those supplies on hand for not a whole lot of money.
Well, you know, when they built the bomb out here, there's a story that it almost fell out of the plane carrying it for one of the bombs from Los Alamos to Trinity. Supposedly one came unchained and almost fell over Albuquerque.
Yeah, there's a story like that in the Carolinas too, that they almost dropped and detonated a big nuke on the U.S. I go back and look at that story too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to get my dates right and everything for this.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just my only concern for today is just, you brought up that 505. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah, that is true. New Jersey, and you know what else is interesting is New Jersey does equal 47 when you run it in reverse. Like New Mexico's the 47th state.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully nothing. All right, we're getting a call from 808 in Hawaii. I want to see what they got to add since they had the fire recently. Thank you, Dave. Jack. Take care, man.
All right. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
All right, going out to where the Lahaina fires happen. What's up, 808? 808? Hello?
Yeah. Hey, Zach. It was good to meet you up in New York. I had something about the Slipknot song that they played on February 28th. From February 28th to Earth Day, it's 53 days, and it's 53 date numerology on Earth Day. And also, Slipknot equals 33, and it's 33 date numerology.
Hold on. I know where you're going with this, because 53 days later matters, because Ocean County equals 53, so does burn. In the chorus to that song, Gematria, the killing name is, "We will burn your cities down."
Yes.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Also, if you do it from today's date equals 54, and you do the end date, it's 55, and that place has a 55th anniversary.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
I just want to bring that to your attention. I was the guy with the big beard in New York City.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for coming out, man. Traveled a long way. Did you travel from Hawaii out to New York?
No, Pennsylvania, but I lived in Hawaii for 20 years.
Okay, that's still a good distance too. So, all right, appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Edward.
Good to talk to you again, Edward. I appreciate
it. Yep. Yeah, have a good one. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care. Yeah, don't forget Ignatius Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits. He has the quote, "Go forth and set the world on fire." 772.
Hello. Hey, Zach. What's up? So what I had to add on this, two things. Excuse me. I just took a fat rip my throat. So something that's interesting with this whole climate change thing, and especially the carbon. I've been reading some college textbooks, the stuff that all the newest propaganda everybody's getting, and all that they talk about is carbon. It's all about the carbon dioxide. And I found a stat that was pretty interesting that apparently cargo ships, they give out the equivalent CO2 of 4 trillion cars, and yet somehow nobody's talking about reducing that. They only want to reduce, the stuff that you and me are doing, and they only want to take away our rights. And I mean, that's really how this whole climate thing is all about. I mean, something else that's carbon sequestering is hemp. The first thing that they would want to do is try to get that legalized because it grows fast. It can be used for, clothing and they make the cement with it, like these cinder blocks. It has thousands of uses. And yet somehow nobody's talking about that because it's just an agenda, and they want to control what we eat, where we go, make the 15-minute cities. And then the other thing I wanted to say was, have you ever read the Jesuit Oath?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's real though. There's no proof that that oath is real, but if it is, man, woo. So,
Yeah, I looked up I just looked up the Jesuit oath, and that was the only thing that came up.
yeah,
It says,
it's well known about this Jesuit oath that's talked about online, but what's not known is where the proof is that that's actually a Jesuit oath.
yeah, I haven't seen anybody say that it's not it, so I don't know. Apparently, it's the Jesuit high oath. But yeah, about the Pope thing, there was some pretty interesting stuff that I found. Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me pull up my decode. So, JD Vance, the last person that he met with, is 59, just like Pope Francis. Also, he was also called the People's Pope, which is 59, just like Pope Francis. And they said that he was born in Buenos Aires, which is 56 and 79, and 187, just like Society of Jesus. And the building that he died in the Domus Sancte Marte 201. The guy who announced his passing, Kevin Farrell, is 74, just like Killing in Gematria. And they also said that he was the first pope that was born outside of Europe since Gregory the Third, which is 58, just like Pope Francis.
Yeah, very interesting.
And also poison and arsenic poisoning is also 88, just like he died at 88. And Jesuits are known for poisoning people with arsenic. But yeah, that was all I had.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, bye. Thanks.
And again, just about the gematria of this Jones Road, just Jones Road alone. Notice it's 38 like fire and 52 like the year it opened. And again, the year that weather warfare was admitted to, 1952. And again, the fire rapidly expanding today on a date with 52 numerology. And I don't believe they were calling this the Jones Road fire yesterday when I saw the headlines break. They might have been, but I know that's the terminology today. So, yeah, 201 is a Jersey area code. They got the St. Peter's Jesuit University in the 201. When I went out to New York, that's where I ended up staying. It's Poor Town over there. It's like the hood. I got my hotel in New York. It ended up being an Airbnb. Oh, man, it was nasty as hell. In hindsight, I wouldn't even have rented a room because I hardly slept. I was up pretty much the 3 days I was there. Probably slept all of 30 minutes in those 3 days, but it was an Airbnb shared by multiple people. But no wonder the deal was so good. It was like $60 a night. Everything else was hundreds of dollars a night. Anyway. I think we got some good additions there. I will update this post on my website. If you guys don't follow my website, that's where I post everything before I present it. I post a lot of things here I never present as well. But yeah, I'll update the Jones Road information. The EPA fine, that was a good one. The sports connections always with the news. New Jersey guy belting a home run that goes with fire. Last year he was used in the Butler shooting hoax. His last name is Butler. He smacked 3 home runs after the Butler shooting hoax. It's sad that people didn't recognize that as a hoax right away, and a lot of people still don't. He was saved by God. He's washed in the blood of Jesus. That's the whole problem with this religious thing. Just makes people dumb and dumber. New levels of stupidity every day. Zach, your work doesn't mean anything. Where's my voice to... How do these people sound to me? There we
go. Zach, I'm so tired of your mocking of the Christ. You're an antichrist. Get washed in the blood or else. It's all that matters.
If that's you, just stop, okay? Look in the mirror and say, am I a cult member? Am I a member of a cult? Is that what's going on here? Have I been brainwashed Am I an illogical person? Do I believe in this story simply because of fear and selfish interests? Do I just want an eternal afterlife and it seems so easy to just believe? Most things that are easy aren't true. It is pretty easy. I mean, really, if I wanted to just be like you guys, it's pretty easy to go, yeah, I believe in Jesus. That's all that matters. I just believe in Jesus. I'm going to have the eternal afterlife. Why even lift a finger? All I got to do is sit here and believe in Jesus. I can play video games all day. I can jerk off all day. And I'll just keep believing in Jesus. I'll be washed in the blood. Ooh, I wonder if this girl, I like her ass. Is she washed in the blood? It doesn't really matter because I am. I'm going to have the eternal afterlife. I should be doing this in my high-pitched voice. Anyway, you get the point. It's just exhausting. Every time you do a video, these people are in the comments section. All right, True Seeker. Thanks again to everyone who hits the like and the share. And yeah, again, listen, I'm not against prayer. I pray myself. But again, faith without works is dead. Real action is greater than prayer. Again, just ask yourself a simple question. My neighbor, you know, I see her out there getting hurt by somebody. If I just sit here and pray that that person stops hurting her, I'm just making an example because she's right across the street. But anyway, somebody's out there hurting her. If I just sit here and pray like, oh, I hope that person stops hurting her over there. Is that more likely to do something or me running out there and actually intervening? Which one would be more likely to help my neighbor if somebody was out there attacking her right now? If you don't know the answer to that question, you might be a cult member. Really, think about it. You know. Now, if I saw that the guy was like 6'6" and I'm over here 5'10", I might have to do a little prayer before I go into combat. That might help me out just an inch. But again, faith without works is dead. People need to start using their power, their God-given power, rather than believe in stories, which God clearly didn't write, but controlling influences did. The same people that want to control your life every day with stories like this one. Climate change is burning down New Jersey on Earth Day. Hurry up and pay us more money and give up more rights and liberties. Submit to our next agenda. Don't you believe our story? We've taught you to believe our stories from day one since you were a little kid. All right, I'm done, True Seeker. Until next time.